Luther, have you ever stolen anything?
Oh man, me and my cousins, we used to steal so much when we were teenagers. We
What?
stole. Remember how they used to put the CDs in those big, huge plastic things that kept you from
Uh-huh.
stealing them? We still stole
Not
them.
y'all.
No, we still. What about you?
I have only stolen something one time.
What?
And when I tell you I was terrified, I was dared in college to steal something from Sally Beauty Supply. I think the statute of limitation has passed. No one's going to come and get me. But I was so scared. I don't know what beauty product I took, but I put it up the sleeve of my coat. And I was convinced that, like, before I could get to the door, I was going to be tackled to the floor. I was like, I'm going to get kicked out of school. Like, why am I doing this? This is horrible.
Do you have a good poker face?
No. I mean,
Even
they were
now,
probably
you don't have a
like,
good
look at
poker
that girl
face.
over there.
Even now, you don't have a good poker face?
No, I'm one of those people who, like, it's written all over my face. I need, like, the friend with the assist who's like pointing to their face, being like, fix your face, because you're gonna know. You're gonna know. But our guy on our show that we're gonna talk about was a little bit of a thief, so
Yeah.
you better start the show.
Let's start the show. Hey everyone, I'm Luke Palmer, and this is one episode Stay in the podcast where we have fun helping you figure out what to watch and what to ghost.
And I'm Jobina Scott. Think of this like a one-night stand for TV shows. We watch and discuss the premiere of a new show, and then we move on to the next one. No strings, no commitment.
We also dig in some of the bigger questions these shows raise when you're not just watching, but actually paying attention to be able to get into your friends and neighbors. But tell people what else you're watching.
I'm watching the final season, like, with sadness in my heart that it's going to be over, of Queer Eye on Netflix.
Oh.
I love this show. And this is it. This is the final season.
Wait, is this the show that they used to be Queer Eye for a straight guy and now it's just Queer Eye?
Yeah, it used to be Queer Eye for the straight guy. Now
Okay.
Queer Eye. And of course, completely different cast.
Oh, it's a different cast. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Completely different cast. And of course, the premise is that these guys go and find people who need help.
Yeah.
And they need help with their style. They also need help with their kind of life. They need help with their home. And they help them in all facets too. They need help with their hair. They need help all around.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love it.
Would you say you've seen every episode of this entire both sets of shows?
No. So I only watched a few episodes of Queer Eye for the Straight Guy.
Oh, okay.
I've seen every episode of Queer Eye.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Do you remember the movie American Beauty?
I'm the type of person who watches a movie and as soon as it's over, it's gone. Like, it just evaporates out of my head. So it's possible.
Yeah, so this movie won an Academy Award back in the day, and for some reason it came into my purview, and I was like, I had to watch that again. I hadn't seen it in 20 years, and I watched it again, and I was like, oh, I can see why it won. It's a very weird movie, but I watched American Beauty. So,
American Beauty. Who's in it?
oh man, I didn't even ask that question. Kevin Spacey is the star.
Now I've seen it. I know
Yeah.
I've seen it because I was like, if this is the Kevin Spacey, yes, I've seen it. It is.
Yes.
It's quite
It's very
strange.
weird
Yes.
though, because
It's very strange.
it involves him being interested in this high school girl, and at a certain point in the movie, the high school girl takes her top off, and now of course the actresses are older than 18,
Right.
but it's kind of like, wait a minute, like this feels very weird.
Yeah, and a bit of a foreshadowing for him, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like, it's very weird to be like looking at a person who's quote unquote in high school.
Yes.
Right. What did you know about your friends and neighbors before you picked up for the podcast?
Nothing. Because it's on Apple TV and I don't watch Apple TV frequently,
Right.
I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah. I didn't either. I just knew that John Hamm was in it, right? Like, that was the only.
Right, John.
Are you a John Hamm person? Like, did you watch Mad Men? Were you into the whole sexiest man alive thing?
So yeah, I did not watch Mad Men. It wasn't that compelling to me. I think John Hamm is very, very handsome. And I like him because he doesn't seem to take himself so seriously. Like, he's not walking around like, I'm the sexiest man alive.
Right.
He's just seems like a down to earth, chill guy who is not that taken away by his own looks, which
Yeah.
to me makes him attractive.
Right.
John.
His episode of his guest appearance on 30 Rock, one of my favorite episodes. 30 Rock is one of my favorite shows. His guest appearance, talking about not taking himself seriously, he did not take himself seriously. If listeners, if y'all have not, just Google John Hamm 30 Rock.
John
That
Hamm on 30 Rock.
episode is absolutely hilarious.
I'll
Okay.
have to see it.
Give us the facts on your friends and neighbors. I keep saying your friends and neighbors because it's like neighbors and friends and neighbors.
It's definitely friends and neighbors.
I keep saying it on re-effort. It is called Your Friends and Neighbors.
Friends and Neighbors.
Yes.
Yeah, so Your Friends and Neighbors is on Apple TV.
Mm-hmm.
It has been interchangeably called a drama series and a dark comedy, I guess, or a dark drama. Like, it's because this is about, not only Andrew Coop Cooper and his life prior to his life of crime, but it's also his life of crime.
Mm-hmm.
In short, like, he is a hedge fund manager. He loses his job. He's going through a divorce, and he turns the corner in terms of how he's going to make money to robbing his wealthy neighbors in his community.
Right. And it's one of these shows where the first scene is him waking up next to a dead body with blood everywhere. And then
in a pool of the blood. Yeah,
right. And then they kind of go back
and
and say, like, how did I get here? Right. So it's very typical in that kind of paradigm of show.
Yeah.
What I find interesting is that the show then becomes about the life that he built for himself and that was taken away from him, that sort of led into this life of crime. But that story in itself is interesting. And I'm the half hour of this show, and I had forgotten where we're going.
Right.
Like, we're
where
going
we started.
to this brutal murder, crime, whatever happened. We don't know what happens, but I'm invested in just the story of a man who lives in a big house. Like, I think he's a hedge fund manager, I think you said, in New York City.
Yeah.
Like, has all the trappings of success, but doesn't feel successful. And then those trappings get taken away, and he's trying to figure out who I am and what I am.
Yeah, so Luther, what do you say when people say, like, okay, Luther, tell me about you? Do you immediately lead with your profession, your discipline, your family? Like, how do you define yourself?
So I struggle with this because I don't lead with career, because I think 5 years ago I kind of got out of the habit of leading with career. So then I'm like, okay, well, what do I want to put first? Right? That's really the question.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on over here.
What goes first?
What goes first? And then who am I talking to? What might they be more interested in? Like there's a lot of things. So sometimes I might come out and say I'm a professional podcast host. But usually I don't try to describe what I do. I try to describe what I am. Like I'm kind of a goofy guy who thinks seriously about things like AI. Like I kind of lean into my, like, what I think about how I present myself in the world. Like I try to say that, like, how do I present myself in the world? Like, really empathetic, very far left liberal. Like, those are the ways I try to describe myself. What about you?
Well, I have been practicing in a work setting, like you're meeting new people in your field, etc., not starting with, hi, I'm this person. I do this thing. I'm also a wife and mother. Like, I have tried to, like, dump the traditional track. I'm still figuring out my descriptors. So you just gave a great list of, like, I'm this, I'm that. I'm still figuring out my descriptors. So I've been saying to people, like, look, I'm me. Like, I'm working on defining what that means. But I'm me.
Okay,
I'm me. That's it.
All right.
I am me. And I do these things. Like, I've got to get all the language in there, but I'm trying to portray that, like, I'm an individual. Like, defined by a certain set of things, and I do these other things. I am in these types of relationships, but I am singular. I am me. I am like an entity independent of those things. So I'm working on it, but that's how I'm trying to think about it.
But do you, okay, so a couple of thoughts. One, aren't we kind of defined by what we do? Like, don't we spend more time at our job than any other activity?
Yeah, and just like Coop in this series,
Look at
that
you
can
knowing
go in an
character
instant.
names.
Character name Andrew Cooper. So, like in a minute, that could be gone.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You if you say that's who you are, and then you walk into the office and you're fired, then who are you?
Right. Yeah. I'm a former.
I'm a former.
So then the other question is, okay, when someone says, "Hey, like, who are you? What are you doing here? Or what's your life?" What are they trying to get at, right? Because maybe they are trying to get at what your job is, right? Saying you're giving them, "I like painting abstract art," and they're like, "Dude, I don't
care. Where do you work?
What is your job, bro?"
Well, and don't you think people are trying to get at, like, what social strata are you in? What have you achieved? Like, that's what they're trying to get at with the question.
How much deference should I give you? Right. And so I'm like, fuck all that. Like, I am a guy who just playing in grass in summertime. You're not supposed to do it. Like, I'll say something like that just to, like, throw people off. Like,
right,
what?
throw people off.
Like, yeah, you're not supposed to play grass in summer? I did it. Like,
I did it.
So we'll see what's going to happen. I'm looking at it every day, 4 times a day, looking to see if it's working or not. That's the kind of guy. But those interactions, I don't know, they're more real than...
Yes.
Man, I don't know. I just get tired of it. But this gets to, like, what the show is really about. It's a person who is, first of all, trying to pay the bills, right? I got bills. He's the one that tells the story. There is kind of a montage of, I met this girl. We got married. We lived in a cheap house. We had kids. We bought a bigger house. We got a promotion. I got an even bigger house. So now I'm broke again. There's this montage of, like, what people call, like, the escalator of life. It's kind of the rat race, where it's also like you get on this escalator, and the escalator you just passively go from one floor to the next.
Going.
And I think that's what he felt in that I just did this. At one point, he literally says, "I got married because," and he doesn't finish the sentence.
Because. Yeah.
Just like, I got married because. We had kids because. And that's very typical of, I'm not going to say, like, life in general, but, like, American life. We tend to have expectations. Like, what does it mean to be mature? Well, for a man, you mature if you get married, if you settle down. And all these things can get taken from you. And then you sort of have this midlife crisis of, what have I been doing? What do I want to do?
Why? Yes. Right. Why have I been doing it?
Right.
Well, especially when you have a shakeup like this character. Like, he then loses all those things. His wife goes and marries their personal trainer, I think. Like, she keeps the home, and the children are with her the majority of the time. He loses his job, and he is stuck with, like, who am I without all of those things?
Right. One of the things that a lot of my friends are into is drinking alcohol, but, like, getting into bourbon and scotch and having like I'm around a lot of people who have conversations about alcoholic beverages. About alcohol. Like, that's the thing. Like, it
makes them feel very sophisticated. Like,
I don't know what's going on there, but if there's a camaraderie, right? There's a fellowship. There's a bond being created over what's your favorite drink, or what you used to drink, or do you like this, or have you tried this? And as a non-drinker, I find it interesting. Like, I'm not sitting there like, oh, these losers are talking about alcohol. I'm just like, wow, this is interesting that there's this much conversation about drinking. Oh, in the episode, he's drinking at this bar. He's drinking this drink. He calls him a Macallan 25, which, of course, I've never heard of, right? And I was like, let me just see how much this costs. Because, like I said, he's a real estate or stock broker, whatever he is.
Affluent,
like, very affluent. This stuff is $2,500 a bottle online. Whoa. Like, that's the, like, wholesale, like, online price. So I'm guessing this shot is costing him $300 to $500 for a shot.
No. Why? Like, why are you doing that?
It can't. So this is the thing. It can't be for taste, right? Like, this is not a thing where it tastes 30 times more
better. Yeah, no.
Something else, right? So it's about class and status, right?
Right.
Like,
well, and I think people just like once you achieve, I mean, it's the same thing with the big house that he talks about. Once you achieve a certain status, you
Right.
do the things that people in that strata do. And he's not
Right.
thinking about like, I'm spending $300 on a drink. It's just what you do.
Right. And I guess you find the best tasting $300 shot of alcohol and you drink that.
Right.
And you tell
drink
your
that.
friends you drink that and you ask for that. And that's just a status. What other, so what are the, because he also talks about a country club and he says, he says, I knew at the time that getting in this country club was only about appearances. It's
Yeah.
only about keeping up with the Jones. And he said, and yet I still did it. Are there any statusy things you do that you're just like, I don't even like doing? This is not a thing for me, but this is what we do.
I mean, I'm not affluent, so I have not achieved the status to be doing these
Yeah,
things.
but you're in a, there's a stratus that you're in, right? Like you're not where he is, but you're in a stratus that's different than people who make a fourth of the money you make, right?
Yeah. I mean, maybe I would hope to say I don't think so. My kids, two out of three of my kids go to private school.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's one thing, but they don't go there because I think it's a status symbol. They go there because like
you
of
tell
a,
people,
like specific
my kids
needs.
go to
My
Wilmington.
children are no, I'm not doing that. I'm not driven by brands or labels. So I don't know, maybe I've developed some immunity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I definitely did I feel like our house was a part of like, okay, we need a house with 5 bedrooms and we need maybe we don't really need that.
Right. But there's an expectation that
But there's an expectation that like
we have a house
you're going to have a
size.
house where every kid has a room and you have room for guests and you can entertain
and every house is bigger than the last one, right? Like you never downsize houses until your kids are gone. Like you never say, and we don't actually let's get a smaller house.
We don't need this. Yeah.
You know, I do that's all about status. Trimming my lawn.
Okay, you're keeping that thing.
Like all the lawn care stuff. Like lawns themselves are complete waste of time, a complete waste of energy, all the gasoline we burn, all the money we spend, all the chemicals we put in the ground. Like it's all a facade of bad. Like, look how beautiful it is. I saw this thing where it talked about how when you walk by someone's yard that looks nice, we think things about that person. We think
yes, we do.
They either have the resources to keep it up or they have the time, right? They have the time or money to keep up their lawn.
To care for it.
Right. When you walk by someone whose lawn is not taken care of, you think like, oh, they're struggling, their life is not together. And I feel that. Like I'm like, well, let me edge the lawn here.
Get out here and do this. But is any part of that about, I mean, this is so entrenched in African American culture, right? Because you have to keep your lawn a certain way because of the assumptions that are being made about you as a member of the neighborhood who may not look like your neighbors.
Right.
And so much of us and our whole like respectability culture and like we are going to do the things that make people think we're one of the good ones is wrapped up in the lawn.
And it's so weird because I am typically so quick to reject these things, but I just felt it when I was doing my lawn.
Yeah.
Last week I was like, why am I doing this?
Why do I
But you
care?
can't.
Yeah.
Like I haven't just let it grow like wild grass. Like you can't do that because you have to. I mean, there's a city ordinance, right? They'll come out and find you. Beyond that, it's like, let me keep up with the Joneses, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you probably have deed restrictions and all that stuff too that keep you in line.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Okay, more or less. What did you want to see more or less of in the show?
I want to see more of the arc from here to there. Like they basically spend the entire first episode on like the walk back of his life. And I think it's building a really good foundation for who he is. To your point, like I got swept up in the flashback of who he was before he was lying in a pool of someone else's blood. But I'm ready for in episodes 2 and beyond, like how did we get, let's speed up to how we got there.
Jobina, are you saying that you only watched one episode?
I only watched.
Wow.
With discipline, one episode.
Wow.
I follow the rules of the podcast.
I don't think you can slow
It's well deserved because usually I break all the rules. I watch the whole thing. So I will take a bow. I will take a bow to my slow
So
clap.
I did okay too because I watched 2 episodes. I was like, let me see where this is going. Like the first, like you're right,
Yeah,
the first
yeah.
episode is very much about like unwinding that. Like he doesn't really get into the mud, right? Into the thickness in the first episode. It's kind of a setup episode, which is what they should be, right? So more or less, I would say I want to see. I'm curious to see how they describe the descent, right? The descent into where he is now to where he becomes. And I want to see, like, is it like a weird happenstance that he ends up next to a dead person, or is it like he really
murdered them,
goes to a dark place, personally and visited? So I'm curious about that. So that, I guess in a way, the first episode did pique my interest enough to care about him and what happens to him. America One Night Stand. I'm not gonna give you Coop. I'm gonna give you his ex-wife's boyfriend. Right? They're not married, right? They're just boyfriend.
No, they're not married.
And living boyfriend. Like this guy's living with Coop's kids and taking the kids to tennis practice.
He's taking his whole life. Like he's inviting him to like, hey Coop, we cooked some steaks. You want to join us? And he's like, do I want to join you for steaks in my house that you cooked? No.
So I'm gonna give you him because he's fit. He's an older guy. He seems like a fun guy. He's like a nice guy. I'm gonna give you him. Marry, Kill, One Night Stand.
Yeah. Maybe a one night stand. He is, to me, he's not. He's fit, but I don't find him that attractive. Mm-hmm. I feel like the wife character is gonna get bored by him really quickly because he seems a little bit one note as well. Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, I'm not gonna marry him, but I'm not gonna kill him.
Did you get the sense that? I remember way a long time ago, I heard that we bounce around from relationship to relationship looking for the person who doesn't have what your previous person, or look for a person who has what your previous partner didn't have. So like you overemphasize what your previous partner was missing when you look for your next partner.
When you're looking for your next partner.
Did you get the sense that he had a levity to him? And a simple, I don't call it stupid, but like a simple,
but it was like simplicity. Yes, there was a simplicity there, and that I believe wholeheartedly that's what she was looking for.
Yeah. And then you're guessing that as most rebounds, right? Most rebounds don't last forever, right? But you're guessing. But it's interesting that she like invited him to move into the house. That's such a precarious thing with stepdad, and stepdads are the number one. Like abusers of children, like
it's the number one indicator of whether or not there's going to be abuse. Is there a stepdad in the house?
That's a weird move for her to do that.
Yeah,
but he's a nice guy. Like by all intents,
he seems like a nice
purposes,
guy.
He was a nice guy. He was good to the kids. Yeah. He was good to her. Like he never yelled at her. He wasn't like the weird stepdad. But yeah.
Okay, and I am going to give you. Amanda Peet. I was doing so well with names, but I don't remember her name in the series. I'm going to give you the wife.
Her name was Carol in the show.
Carol doesn't seem to fit her either.
Totally made that up.
Oh, you're rotten.
I have no idea who this woman is that I'm going to marry because I liked her.
Oh, you're going to marry her.
I thought she was. So here's the thing. I think she realized that this wasn't the life she wanted before he did. I think he had to have things taken from him before he realized, oh, this is not, like, what are we doing here? Like, what's the purpose of all this? Right. I think she caught wind of that sooner, and she cheated, right? Did she cheat?
I think she cheated with
the which I never excuse cheating. But, like, I think her midlife crisis, or her, whatever you want to call it, happened before him. And I do think that made her interesting. So I guess, actually, if I would say more or less, I would like to see more of her story because we go through his story, his perspective. Remember in, what was the show? Fleischman Needs Help or whatever? Fleischman Needs Saving?
Fleischman's in Trouble. Fleischman's in Trouble.
Where the show shifted to be a show about her.
I know. Oh, that was so good.
Like, I would actually like to see a parallel narrative of like what she experienced, what she was going through. What decided her decision. I don't know if we'll get to that, but I would say I want to see more of her. Also because she is my future wife because I want to marry her.
Right.
So the more screen time. And I like her. I like her as an actress. Like,
oh, I like her too.
And I think she played a good character. She played the concern because Coop. See what I did there? Coop.
Yep, you got the name. Good job.
Y'all, Jobina and I have had conversations offline about how we need to do better at coming up with these character
We
names.
gotta do
That's
better.
why we're so proud of ourselves.
And we got one. And we got one.
And we are so proud of ourselves for it having one character named
One
Coop.
name.
But like Coop kind of starts drinking a lot and like kind of goes off the
Yeah.
deep end. And she is like, hey, Coop, like, let's talk, right? She's still interested in having this relationship
Yes.
with him.
Yeah,
she
she
also
cares about
appears to
him.
be a good mother. You know, mothers can tend to be neurotic about their kids, which is fine. Like, it's a part of life. But she is that I'm okay with that. So I'm gonna marry her.
You're all in. Very
All
good.
right. So based
Luther, I
Yeah.
have one question to ask before you ask me the big question.
the big question.
The big question, because I know that you are a face blind guy, I'm going to ask you, did you recognize Coop's boss?
Recognize who?
Coop's boss, the guy who fires him.
No.
Did you recognize him?
No.
Corbin Burnson
No.
from LA Law.
So we are, first of all, we're dating ourselves by saying LA Law.
I know.
Jobina, that was the show back in the day.
It was the show. And he was the man. Like, he was so handsome. He had that little
Right.
blonde hair. He's bald now, but that's the boss. And as soon as I saw him, I both recognized him and knew that you wouldn't.
You know, he was one of these guys where I'm like, I'm sure I know him from somewhere. Like, he had a familiar vibe and energy. But, you know, now that you're saying that, I recognized his voice more than I recognized his face. Like,
He
I'm
has a
bad
very
with faces.
distinctive voice.
He has a
Yeah.
very distinctive voice. And I was like, I know this voice, but I didn't take the time to process where I know it from.
Who it
That is
was.
Corbin Burnson.
It is.
Was that the first big mall drama show?
Of
Primetime
that genre,
drama?
I don't know. Maybe so.
Because we've had
Maybe LA Law
100
was the
since then.
first.
So that reminds
Yeah.
me. So that reminds me of something about this show that I'm not so excited about. There is a genre of show called wealthy people behaving bad. Like, I don't know if you watch Billions or like there's
Nope.
all these shows about like like one of the categories is like hospital shows, police department shows, right? Like when we just cycle through these shows, and one of
Yeah.
these things is wealthy people behaving badly. And this show for me fits into that, like, oh, a wealthy person is going to start committing crimes and has either murdered someone or I don't know if it was self-defense. So I am kind of like, I don't like those shows. Like I lose interest in those shows just because it's not a genre that connects with me. Usually
Yeah.
it's white people, and it's just not that it's because they're white, but it's because we've seen it before, right?
Yeah.
We know the stories, we know the storylines. Like, are they gonna do something original with this white, wealthy man who does bad things? Which is kind of, I think, why I want to hear about her, right? Like, we hear
Yeah.
about men protagonists, or what they call
And
what do they call the anti-protagonist?
And antagonist.
No, is he? But he's like anti-hero. He's an anti-hero. Where it's like he doesn't save the day, but he's like the person who's making the day not so
Right.
great.
He is the day.
Right. But like, so we've seen the white male protagonist and anti-hero. Are they gonna do something different? Right. So I guess that's what I'm gonna see more of. Something other than that.
Something different. Okay.
Okay, Jobina. Now for the question we've all been waiting for. Are you gonna
Yes, sir.
see Your Friends and Neighbors starring John Hamm playing Coop? Or was this a one? You know, so someone, we're laughing at these jokes. People listening are probably not laughing at all. We're just cackling.
They don't get it. They don't get it. They don't get it. I mean, unless they are avid listeners and they realize, like, these two never, ever have the name of the character.
Right,
I mean, I think you could turn this episode into a drinking game, though. Like, every time you hear Coop, you got to knock back a $350 shot.
Or all of our episodes, every time they refer to the actor's name instead of the character's name, drink a shot.
You'd be wasted.
People would be wasted. All right, does this one episode stand, or are you in?
I'm in. I'm going to keep watching.
Nice.
I liked it. It laid a great foundation. And I really do want to see at least how did he get there in terms of his life of crime. So I'm in.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm there for a couple more episodes because, like I said, I think if it's white male rich guy is not as awesome as we think he is, I'll pass on
You're
that.
done with
So,
that.
but there was enough to at least like I think in episode 2, some of the seediness starts, and I sort of like how he interacts with like a pawn shop. You know, have you ever been to a pawn shop, Jovina?
I've never been to a pawn shop.
I
In my
suspected
life.
that about
Never.
you. It's not like I go all the time, but like, yeah, like I have.
But you have been.
I
I've
went in
never been.
college to buy tea. My friend went to buy tea from a pawn shop. So we get to the pawn shop and we're looking at this TV and there's a hole in it, right? The hole in the back, but the TV, like, it turns the TV on and it's working.
A hole.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's not the thin ones that we have now, right? We
No, it was like the big box
take your soul
TV.
back, right? And it wasn't huge, but it had, So the guy who works there says lots of things work to have holes in them, and we're like, okay,
Oh,
sure.
Lord.
Then he says, like, girls.
And you guys are like, dude.
We fell out, yo. We're like, I mean, he's
Like
not
girls.
wrong, but so we did buy the TV, and
You bought it.
It didn't work with a hole in it.
Continue to
All right, is there anything else about the show we need to discuss?
No, I think we've covered that and more.
Right. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to one episode Stand. If you enjoyed this episode, you can subscribe to the podcast if you're when episodes drop. If you're listening on iTunes, please give us a rating. It helps other people find the show. The theme music is Freedom by Paradox Hip Hop, and we'll be back next time with another series premiere. To be able to end on this, every story has a moral. What was the moral of this episode?
The moral of this episode is start thinking about how you define yourself beyond your job, because you could lose it. You can be fired at any moment. Define yourself a different way.
No, my sister was talking about exit strategies. Like he was forced to exit the path he was on,
Right.
but she also is thinking a lot about creating her own exit strategy, like getting into investments or doing. Do you think about exiting the rat race, or I'll say the rat? I'll just say the workforce. Do you think about exiting the traditional workforce pre-retirement, or are you just like, I'm gonna just work till I retire?
I unfortunately am just going to work until I retire. Like, I feel like I have a good strategy around that. And, I was raised by parents who, their focus was get as much education as you can so you can get a good job, and you work that good job until you retire. And I didn't make any other plans. So
why'd you say unfortunately? Why'd you start off by saying unfortunately?
Well, because people are doing so many interesting things. Like they're retiring early, they're house sitting globally, they're moving to other countries where the cost of living is less, they're living off their savings there. Like people are doing things that I didn't plan for, and they sound really interesting, exciting. It's not going to be me.
So that proverbial grass is green, but not greener in your mind. It's not greener, right?
It's greener, but it's not attainable if you hadn't really been thinking about. If you hadn't developed a plan before now.
The grass is greener, but the fence is tall.
Too high. The fence is too high for me.
I'm a snack. All right, everybody. See y'all later.
Bye, everybody.